Hey guys, this is Illusion PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading 5 Times Jason Todd Didn't Swear and 1 Time Bruce Did by Weather Boy But Derogatory. This is Chapter 4. The late evening finds Damien on a chair in the main living room, reading a book with softened corners and a torn cover. "What book do you have there, Master Damien?" Alfred asks, startling Damien slightly. He glances up, only to realize that it's completely dark outside. He's been wrapped up in the book for a while. "Slaughterhouse 5. Damien replied, his voice appallingly scratchy after not using it. "It is a highly renowned novel written by Kurt von Goethe." Alfred smiles. "Oh? Does it come highly recommended as well?" Damien frowns. "No, not to my knowledge." "Well," Alfred says, turning round, "you'd best make sure Master Jason is aware that you have taken one of his best-liked books." He smiles. "They'll likely be returning soon." Damien flushes. It wasn't about Todd, he wants to protest, but he's well aware that going on the defensive just makes things worse. He gets up, trying to make it seem casual as he heads to the stairs to return the book. He'll come back for it. Suddenly, a loud commotion comes from the cave. Damien turns immediately to fight, he supposes. When Duke and Steph burst through the door, a limping Todd hangs between them, his arms wrapped around the other's shoulders. "We need medical aid," Duke calls, his eyebrows pinched in worry. Damien turns to Alfred. "Don't rely on someone else, anyone else, fix this yourself," who has started towards Jason. Alfred moves Jason to lean on him instead. "Bring up supplies from the medical bay in the cave. I'll take Mr. Jason to his room. Knock before you enter in case of panic. Make haste," he advises, voice as steady as possible. The two nod. Jason stirs without lifting his head. He mumbles, "Hey, Alfred. Was hoping you'd be here." He slurs. Damien frowns as Alfred attempts to smile. "What were you doing, Todd?" he yells, emphasizing with arms outstretched. It's not a friendly gesture, of course, but shows his ability to attack if needed. "Getting yourself injured is a mistake that nobody my mother trained should experience. Your incompetence could have hurt one of the other ones as well." Alfred looks at him, eyes narrowing. Before he can chastise Damien, however, Jason laughs. "You're right, Damie. Don't tell Dad." He coughs, and Alfred bends down immediately to help situate him. Damien stares. "Dad?" "Don't need." Another cough. "Another lecture." "Master Jason, I'm going to start moving you upstairs." "Okay, Alfred. I trust you," he says, head rolling slightly. Before he can react, Damien realizes that Jason spotted the book in his hands. He moves to hide it, but Jason just laughs again. There's a pause for him to grimace. "Wow, that's a real good book. She'll let me know you wanted to read it. I've got a copy." "Master Jason," Alfred says, "please try to refrain from speaking until you are in your room." Looking at Damien, he adds, "Master Damien, he will be okay." Damien wants to protest. He isn't worried, not about this idiot, but somehow, Alfred's words quiet a painful strumming in his stomach. Todd mutters another "okay" before falling silent, and Damien watches Jason's retreating figure. Damien wakes the next morning with a feeling of unease. The book Slaughterhouse 5 lays finished on his nightstand. He tried to sleep, but couldn't help wanting to read. The book, he'd realized, made a valuable point about the glorification of war and its effects on children. The Children's Crusade, von Goethe had called it. This realization, paired with the sickening thought that Jason Todd was, perhaps, better than what Father had always seemed to describe him as. Smarter, specifically. Todd was a warning tale. Todd knew this. Damien knew this. Every bat knew this. It was something they'd heard, whether implied or outright voiced. "Don't wander off," they'd said, "or you'll end up like Jason Todd." But Todd was smart. And he wasn't bad, not really. So many of the bats were murderers, so Damien didn't understand the rest of them who complained about it. Didn't they see Todd's point? He was saving lives, children, women, men, everyone. The Joker kept killing, but Todd said that they should kill him to save other people from dying or being traumatized. Todd ended human trafficking rings, drug dealers that sold to children, ruining their lives before they'd begun. There was so much hurt, Damien supposed. Father and Todd. Todd and Grayson. Turned Grayson and Father. Todd and Drake. Turned Grayson and Todd. And on and on and on. But if he was being honest with himself, Damien was curious to know Todd. He didn't really care what kind of violence there was because he knew he'd get the upper hand. He'd been in family worse, which Todd had seen. There was a sudden commotion from the hallway, and for the second time in 24 hours, Damien startled. He hated startling. Getting up, he opened the door. Standing outside is Jason Todd. Speak of the devil, Damien thinks to himself. Taking a moment to look at the frozen crime load, he realizes that he is decidedly not okay. Get out of my way, demon brat, Jason snarls. No, Damien replies. Jason raises an eyebrow. You want to fight, little bird? That's low, even for you. Todd, you are shaking. Your voice wobbled, your stitches have likely reopened in your struggle, and your eyes have not turned green. He tisses and crosses his arms against his chest. If you think I'm going to fight you, I'd have to reevaluate my estimation of your intelligence. Jason pauses, watching him. His face is too pale, and Damien knows that Dick would hate seeing his sibling like this. Go to bed, Todd, Damien says. He hopes Todd won't remember the softness in his voice after sleep. Go away, Jason replied through gritted teeth. No, Damien repeats. Again, Jason pauses. Then he turns his head to the side. Then his eyes flash so green Damien struggles down a flinch, before Jason throws his face into his hands and starts muffling his yells. The words that do get through, though, aren't the usual string of profanities Jason relies on to convey his emotions. Instead, they are made of a strange tangled vocabulary. Soggy frickin' piece of toast. This unsacred little foul, power-hungry rabbit cat, Jason muttered behind his hands. Damien raised an eyebrow. Ugh, Todd finally spoke. This is insane. You are insane. Why do you even care, demon brat? Damien bristled at the nickname. You are a bat, he replied, and your safety concerns me. Everyone will be too distracted to perform their best if you are injured in a ditch someplace. Damien ignored the subsequent eye roll. He's right, Jay. We care about you. Jason glanced up at Dick, who had appeared behind the so-called demon brat. The response took him longer than what Dick would prescribe to a healthy, not injured or dying crime lord and former Robin. Jason grumbled. You guys aren't allowed to team up, he said softer. Weary was starting to seep into his voice as Todd's eyes drooped. What's next? You'll sick Alfred on me? I know it was a miracle getting you to come back with Steph and Duke, Dick continued, but could you stay here until you get better? Jason frowned. No, I'm not staying on bed rest, Dick. I'm not a Robin. Any more was left unsaid. Damien glowered. I'm Robin, Todd, so you'd best... Okay, how about this? Dick asked hurriedly. You come downstairs, we watch a show you like, and you consider spending one more night here, and letting us help you back to your apartment. Sure, whatever. I'm just done with this conversation. He started down the stairs, but 2 things. I can leave whenever, and Bruce doesn't hear a lick of it. Deal, Dick said, following down after him. Damien remembered Jason calling Father Dad last night, and briefly considers if this means Jason considers him a brother as well. He stands at the top of the upstairs foyer until Dick calls out a few moments later, asking him to join. He does. When Alfred finds them later, Dick and Tim are sitting on a couch with Jason sat between them. Golden Girls plays from a large TV, and Jason is wrapped in a blanket, fast asleep. Damien passes by him into the room. Don't wake him, is all he says. Drive yourself to Taco Bell and get fatal diarrhea, Damien yells during a patrol. Tim sighs. We shouldn't have let you talk to him. He's been getting more creative. Isn't it wonderful? Jason says with pure glee. Dick and Tim cast a glance at each other, full of pain. Alright guys, and that is the end of chapter 4 of 5 times Jason Todd didn't swear and 1 time Bruce did by Weather Boy But Derogatory. Hope you guys liked it in this next chapter.